Hi, I'm Nirmal, and in the first part we have discussed about the layoffs and terminations. So in these episodes or in this part, second part, we are now discussing about the attritions, retrenchment, separation, and downsizing. So, termination, layoffs, attritions, retrenchment, separations, and downsizing, is the most important part in organizational behavior. So, abstract proper management of employee separation is crucial in organizational success and stability, as you know that. So, it involves including employees to take business risk and training them to deal with different times of austerity. So, uh, this is so as to avoid lawsuit by the affected employees. So, employees may be laid off in order to cut costs. So, this can be done through layoffs, retrenchment, early retirements, and other forms of separations in organizations. The effect of these separations can trigger reduced stock prices and their negative consequences also. So, to avoid this, separation must be well managed and, if possible, avoided altogether. So, this can be done by reducing dissatisfaction and making sure there is good match between employees and the organizations. For example, if there must be separations, the benefit must be carefully examined to make sure that both the organizations and the employees create a win. So, win situations, the keyword: employees separations, organizational stability, quits, retirements, discharges, or employees turnovers. So, introduction: managing human beings is a crucial function in successful business management. So, human factor is the most critical of the resources and requires high management skills in order to avoid spillage and wastage, and also to mobilize all other resources in organizations. So, human resources are tasks which control the operations of other resources, are tasks which control the operations of resources in order for the organizations to realize its set goals. So, world economic have of recent times been continually afflicted by economy. So, in the face of emerging technology, so human resources issues such as preparing labor production plans, identifying key employees that organization must retain despite declining profits. So, managing increasing employee stress, anxiety, and depression are common. So, rewarding individuals for achieving important milestone, including employees to take prudent risks within their purview of responsibilities, are other tasks. The HR managers have to deal with cross training employees so that they can relate to different audiences both domestically and internationally, and treating employees in an ethical manner. And finally, employee separations requires high managerial integrity. So, however, on the backdrop of the present time of competitions and austerity, business organizations globally are engaging in the selection of mitigating measures such as mergers by offs, layoffs, retrenchment, early retirement, and other forms of separations in order to minimize costs and maximize on profits, or for survival. Whatever method is employed to help reduce the firm's operating expenses with regard to employee welfare proper human resources management procedures need to be observed so as to avoid causes of lawsuits by so affected employees. Managing employee separations, downsizing, and outplacements, the current global economic showdown has resulted in greater focus on the financial well being of organizations and even nations. One way to maintain the organization's fiscal health in the face of difficult economic conditions is to cut cost. Of course, in most cases, can appreciable cost of doing business is related to the cost of the wages bill. So, however, labor cost can be reduced in a number of ways, including reduced work hours and wage freezes. So, in the extreme, the cost of labor can be eliminated through layoffs, retrenchment, early retirement, and other forms of separations also in organizations. These are some measures that can be used to improve an organizational financial performance, although they may not be popular with employees. So downsizing is another measure that aims at reducing employment levels and which targets the reduction of labor cost while at the same time improving productivity and financial performance also. So remaining employees will largely determine whether the layoffs will or not improve the organizational productivity and financial health. So this will depend more on whenever the remaining employees understand the economic reasons for the layoff of their colleagues. And important concerns is whether the retained workers are energized and equal to the task of succeeding with fewer members and a smaller membership. So, unfortunately, rather than motivating the retained workers, a layoff might deflate the worker force and fan concerns over the job security. The effects of layoffs have formed the basis for many continuing researches the world over in the recent past, but it appears that they do not necessarily lead to positive economic outcomes. So conversely, layoff announcements can trigger reduces stocks prices for publicly traded organizations. So traded organizations decrease profits, particularly for organizations that compete on the basis of research and innovations have strongly been linked to layoffs, overall layoffs, as with any kind of employee separations can have negative or positive consequences. As important factor is how well the separation process is managed. A careful risk analysis before instituting a layoff should be mandatory. Concepts of employee separation is the termination of employees membership from an organization which amounts to employee separations is occur when an employee ceases to be a member of an organization. So employment leads to employees turnover as a management practice. The managers should carefully monitor the turnover rate of the subordinate staff to identify and manage causes for turnover with view to minimizing it and the cost of replacements also. So recruitment procedures could be expensive too in organizations. So replacement cost, particularly for highly skilled and excessively high turnover rate compared to the industry standards, can often be an indicator of problems within the organizations. Types of employee separations in a broad spectrum. Employee separations can be grouped into two categories: voluntary and involuntary separations, as I earlier said in the episode part 1. So voluntary separations are initiated by the employees when an employee decides for personal and professional reasons to end relationship with the employees. The decisions so made may be based on several factors such as obtained a better job opportunity, number 2 need for career change, number 3 need for more time for family or leisure activities, number 4 present job not being attractive because of poor working conditions in organizations, number 5 low pay benefits, number 6 bad relationship with supervisor or other colleagues. In most cases the decisions to leave are a combination of having alternative and being unhappy with aspects of being the current job. And voluntary separations can be either avoidable or unavoidable. So unavoidable voluntary separations results from the employee's life decisions that extend beyond an employee's control. So a good example is a spouse decisions to move to a new area that requires relocations for the employees. Nevertheless, recent studies shows that approximately 80% of voluntary separations are avoidable and many of those are a result of staffing mistakes. With careful investments in quality human resource management, recruitment selections, placements, training and journal of education and practice development programs. So companies can avoid a mismatch between the employees and the job, thus reducing chances of voluntary separations. Voluntary separations take the dimensions of quits and retirements also. So quits employee separations can be as a decisions to quit the job. The decisions to quit depends on either employee level of dissatisfactions with the job. Number 2, the number of attractive alternatives the employees has outside the organizations. The employee can get dissatisfied with the job itself, the employment, or both, or even more. In recent years, some employees have been encouraging employees to quit voluntarily by offering their pay incentive packages also. So the government considering these options also. So employer use these voluntary severance plans or buy outs to reduce the size of their workforce, while at the same out plans or buyouts to reduce the size of their workforce, while at the same time avoiding the negative factors associated with a layoff. The pay incentives may amount to a lump sum cash amounts of 6 months or 2 years of salary. So depending on the employee's tenure with the companies and the plan's design. So retirement as a method of separations, retirement differs from a quit in a number of respects. First, a retirement normally occurs at the end of an employee's career, whereas a quit can occur to any time. Cordially, quit occurs in early stages of one's career when they are more likely to change jobs. Second, usually retirement result in the individuals receiving retirement benefits from the organizations. So these may include a retirement income supplements with personal savings and social security benefits. The organizational normally plans retirement in advance, while those who quit do not receive these benefits with proper retirement schemes. So HR staff can help employees plan their retirement while at the same time giving managers an opportunity to plan in advance to replace retiree by grooming current employees or recruiting new ones. So quits are much more difficult to plan for as they may be unanticipated. For examples, most employees in the public sectors are expected to retire normally on attainment of up at the age of 60 years when they are entitled for full pensions. So early retirement incentives may take a financially attractive for senior employees to retire early together with buyouts. So these early retirements are used as alternatives to layoffs because they are a gentler way of the discerning this workforce. So the involuntary separations and involuntary separation is one of the occurs when an employee of organization decides to terminate its relationship with an employee due to a number of reasons such as economic necessity, mismatch of poor fit between the employees and the organizational. Involuntary separations are sometimes based on painful or serious decisions that can have a profound effect on the entire organizations or especially on the employees who loses the jobs. So the effect may spill over to dependents and sometimes to the community. So the decisions to dismiss an employee is made at the management board meeting and implemented by the managers. So nevertheless, it is the duty of an HR staff to ensure that the dismissal is performed within the letter and the spirit of the organization's employment policy. So corporations and teamwork between managers and the HR staff are essentials to effective management of the dismissal processes. So HR department can act as a valuable advisors to organizational managers and the entire boards of management. So this is an arena by helping them avoid mistakes that can lead to claim of wrongful discharge in a legal redress. So they are also required to help protect employees whose rights are violated by managers. Involuntary separations take two forms: discharges and layoffs. And a discharge is a form of involuntary separations that takes place when management decisions that is mismatched between the employees and the organizations. The discharge may be necessitated by the either employee failure to change some unexpected behavior that the management has tried repeatedly to correct or persistent poor performance. So sometimes employees engage in serious misconduct such as theft, dishonesty, gross insubordinations, chronic lateness and absenteeism, which may result in immediate terminations. So in the event that a manager may decide to discharge an employee, he or she must make sure that the organization's established decisions procedures are followed. Many times employees are protected by progressive disciplines and procedures that allow employees opportunities to correct their behavior before receiving a more serious punishment. So these procedures require that employees be issued with warning notice. So warnings are the both verbal and written within specified period of time by the organizations. So managers are required to document the occurrence of violence and provide evidence that the employee know about the rules and that they are warned at their violations could lead the discharge. So these act as a safety value for the management at the entire organizations as it provides proof that the employees has discharged for just cause in case the discharged employees hit back through lawsuit. So management perspective of the separations, many business organizations globally are increasingly becoming productive with similar workforce as a result of competitions and technological advantages. In addition, voluntary turnover does not appear to the declining and it is difficult to find replacement. So consequently, manager must not only develop their skills to develop an employee who leaves the organizations voluntarily, but they must also add employees who have been fired for various causes in organizations or are being let go for economic reasons. So if not handled with care, the ending to the employment relationships can change an organization's reputations on its industry or community and limits its ability to attract the scarce talented employees that it might need in the future also. So it is important to note that sometimes it may be an unpleasant task to manage an organization's outflow of human resources, but the manager must learn the procedure leading to exist from the firm and manage it effectively. Employees separation can be and should be managed satisfactorily so as to achieve effective and efficient organizational operations while minimizing the cost. So causes of employees turnover globally and increased number of job opportunities contributes largely to the job hopping, thus increasingly the rate of employees turnover as it open the members of alternatives for workers. The impact of firms having to compete for qualified workers is exacerbated by employee poaching. A recent survey so stealing talented workers is a top cause of employees turnover. Other includes lack of development opportunities, better career opportunities, insufficient compensations, boring work environment, and pay increase are not the only or even the most important tools which can be used to manage employees turnover. Providing training, development opportunities, and career advantage options can be equally helpful. Motivational considerations such as providing challenges, tasks, broader responsibilities, and greater decision making authority can make work more meaningfully and engaged. A similar opinion was companion. So employee separation cost, the cost of turnover may differ from organizations to another, and some pertinence cost may be difficult to estimate. So some geographical location can necessitate alarming high cost of requirements for new employees, leading to ordinarily high cost of turnover. So furthermore, the effect of lost talent on sales, productivity, or research and development all may be tremendous but difficult to estimate. So benefits of the employee separations, although employees separations seen negatively by very many people and tend to have several benefits. So separations open up ground for promotions and staff mobility. When turnover rates are too low, few employees will be hired, thus curtailing opportunities for promotions. Second, continued low turnover may give rise to negative effects on performance as the workforce might become complex, might become complacent and fail to generate innovative ideas also. So new promotions and appointments bring along challenging job opportunities and require creativity and innovations. So an employee may receive some potential benefits from separations too. At the same time, an employee may escape from an unpleasant work situations and eventually find one that is more fulfilling and less stressful and is stressful in the organizations. So the with the presumably more skilled employees, fifth, opportunities for increased innovations are opened up, separations created, and for increased innovations are opened up, separations creates room for new employees who may be prompted from or promoted from within or hired from outside. They come with new innovations that help and improving business performance by offering fresh perspective. So lastly, organizations open up for greater diversity through separations. They get opportunities to hire employees from diverse background and redistribute and cultural and gender compositions of the workforce in compliance with the government equal the employed opportunities policy. So thanks for watching my videos. If you like my videos, please subscribe my MBA in this channel. Thanks a lot.